Welcome to the deep dive. For our very first deep dive, we're tackling a really intriguing concept.
What makes a travel experience just so incredible that you immediately start planning to go back? Our deep dive today is looking at Hosted Africa, specifically their Southern African tours, and this whole idea of guests wanting to revisit again and again.
Yeah, it's this concept we're calling once is never enough.
Mm-hmm.
Hosted Africa really seems to nail this.
Uh-huh.
Certain trips just create this deep loyalty,
Yeah.
right? And we're looking at how the hosts, Ronnie and Dee Pitcher, their personal approach seems key. We've got some real guest experiences to draw on. We're focusing on Ed and Ann Grenadier. They had this trip in 2022 they called a vacation of a lifetime.
Yeah.
We've got the review from the Hosted Africa site from back then.
Okay.
But the really fascinating part, they went again in 2025, and we have Ed's Google review from that trip too.
Wow. Okay. So they really lived the once is never enough idea.
They did. So let's unpack it. What was it about that first trip, the 2022 one, that made them want to repeat it? How did the second trip stack up?
Well, looking at that initial 2022 feedback, it really sets the scene. They said quite clearly, they truly had the time of our lives, a vacation of a lifetime, one we will always remember.
Well, what's really fascinating here goes beyond just, personal connection.
Mhm.
It's more like this proactive thing, anticipating needs, really becoming part of the experience with the guests.
Okay.
We saw Ed and Ann Grenadier observe that Ronnie and Dee watched out for us like loving parents.
Wow.
Yeah, and made themselves part of the group. They even called the planning flawless. So that kind of care, it turns it from just a trip into something more, like an emotional investment,
Right.
It builds this unique trust. Returning feels like you're visiting old friends. They also raved about the places they stayed, including their amazing staff. And the food was apparently extraordinary. Full meals out in the bush, authentic restaurants.
Yeah, the whole package. But what really seems to jump out from their words is the personal touch from the hosts, Ronnie and Dee Pitcher.
Right. They said Ronnie and Dee made yourselves part of the group and felt like they enjoyed the trip as much as we did.
Feeling genuinely looked after in a place that might be unfamiliar, that's not just guiding, that's hosting in the truest sense.
It must create this secure base to just soak it all in.
Precisely. It fosters that immersive, enriched experience Hosted Africa talks about. It's rooted in Ronnie and Dee being local, born and raised there. That deep connection, that expertise, that's what plants the seed. It turns a great holiday into something you deeply remember and, well, want to feel again.
And clearly, they did want to feel it again.
Not just seeing the big sights again, but experiencing them differently, perhaps more intimately, with that insider knowledge.
So it wasn't just a carbon copy trip. It evolved.
Exactly. It validates their initial trust. It shows that even in familiar territory, there were new layers, new curated moments to discover.